Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are on the globe. If you don't know already, my name is Matt. I am a senior data analyst with over 8 years of experience and the proud co founder of the best data coaching platform out there, Data Edge Institute. Now, I was mid creating my YouTube series, which is all about the data behind some of the things that we see every day, such as sport, music, businesses. And I thought to myself, I haven't created a video in a while where I'm doing a breakdown of what a data analyst is for those who are trying to get into the industry and where the career is going, what it looks like now for people who may already be there or on the cusp and trying to see where they should take their career and their journey. Now, before we get into it, I want to just take a step back and a big step back. We're going to go back 100 years and just have a look at a scenario. We're going to create a business scenario and say we've got a shop. We have a corner store that sells, everything from newspapers to sweets, drinks, and everything else. And we want to do some analysis of our performance. Yeah, so the performance of the shop. So we're getting a bunch of stock. Say we've got like 100 Coca-Colas, 100 Opal fruits, which is now known as Starburst. If it was around then, it would have been Opal fruits. Say we got like some Twixes, anything. You just a bunch of confectionery, sweets, drinks, chocolates, everything. Right? So how we would work the business is we would open up, we at a certain time, so say 9 a.m. We sell a bunch of stuff to customers who come in, and then 9 p.m. comes, and then we shut. And then we do a count and we see what we've sold, what we haven't sold. We do a stock count. Next morning at 9 a.m., we open again. Now, at the end of the week, when we're doing the analysis of the week, there's a bunch of things that we want to look at our performance. All right. So, first thing we want to see is we'd want to see the stock. So, how much stock did we sell of each product? Because if, say, we had 100 Cokes and we sold 90 by the end of the week, we know, okay, we need to get some more in. So we need to get another 100 in, say, yeah, just to ensure that we've got enough for the next week so that we don't sell out. Whereas if we had 100 and say by Wednesday we'd sold 80, we know that we've only got 20 left for the rest of the week. So at the end of the week, when we're doing that analysis, we need to say, okay, fine, maybe we need to get 200 Cokes to ensure that we don't run out of stock. Yeah. We're going to look at our fastest selling items, where we're making the most money, profit. So if we're buying certain sweets at say 10p per sweet and selling them for 50 pence, probably shillings back then we'll be looking and seeing the profit that we're making on each item. Yeah. So all of this, we're doing that breakdown and analysis of things that we would do nowadays on an Excel spreadsheet or in Power BI or whatever it is we're using. And we'd be doing that just with a piece of pen and paper. Yeah. Now, the reason I'm going back and taking it away from the technology is because the sole focus of that analysis that we're doing 100 years ago on our corner shop is for the purpose of fueling the business with the information to make better informed decisions. Yeah? So it's actionable insights that we're creating that allows our business to now go and make business decisions that will ultimately drive the profits for the company. Yeah. Now, the reason I wanted to start 100 years ago is because fast forward 100 years, we've got all sorts of technology, and even now, even more so with the emerging of AI and other tools. We've got SQL, we got Power BI, we have Excel, we have Tableau, we have R, we have all sorts of technologies and cool systems and cool tools. But at the core of what it is we're trying to do is we're trying to take the data that we've got, collate it in a way, and create actionable insights to ultimately drive the business forward. No matter what it is, whether it's a corner store or a tech house or an insurance firm or a bank or whatever it is, we want to be able to give that management information in a way in which the business can now take that information and create actionable insights to then drive the profits of the business or the performance, whatever it is, depending on the industry that we're talking about. Now, there's a quote that I love. George Santanaro. I can't remember exactly what it is, but the quote is that a fanatic redoubles down on their efforts when they lose sight of the vision. And I've been feeling like that a lot recently. Not necessarily with myself, but when I speak to colleagues and other people within our industry working with data, you get so focused on one section of what you're trying to achieve, which is in the technology space, that you lose sight of the overall picture, which is to use this data to create actionable insights to drive performance of the business. Yeah. And what I mean by that is sometimes we can get so bogged down in creating a fancy looking dashboard or a really nice pivot chart, or a SQL code that's 1,000 lines and does all sorts of amazing things and creates a display of data that's so clean and so organized that you can see absolutely everything, but it doesn't create that actionable insight for a business. Yeah. And I think it's really important for anyone who's looking now at trying to become a data analyst, anyone who is currently a data analyst and early on in their journey, to remember the overall vision of trying to fuel the business with what they need to be able to take their performance to the next level. Yeah. And I think when people are now looking at jobs and breaking into the industry and providing value to a business, I think the skills are great, and honestly, they really really do help. And I don't think you can be a data analyst these days without these technical skills, but not solely. I think to be able to to solve a problem, to be a problem solver, to be a solutionizer in a business, I think you need to understand how what you're doing with the data, what you're creating, does for the business, what you're allowing the business to achieve. And I think when you start to think about everything you're doing in that way of solving a problem and not just using a piece of tech to give to the business, I think it transforms yourself. It creates it makes you a better analyst, but also allows the business to use the data for their intended purpose. I think what we've got these days in a lot of businesses that I've seen and people I've spoken to is this disparity between tech and the business that often gets lost here because they're both in their own world. You've got people within the tech and data sort of section that are building all these really amazing tools, by the way, amazing management information tools, using all this really cool technology that gives the best information underneath the business to be able to fuel decision making. And then we've got the business who need that information and they understand the business well. And then what we've got in the middle is this bit of air, um, that just needs to be connected. There's something there that needs to connect the two in order to create this uh, fully polished engine that drives perfectly and allows the business and the tech to work really well together in sync. So, all of that to say, I think what makes a good data analyst today is being a problem solver, being able to solve a problem, and I think being able to solve the problem means understanding the problem, that the bigger problem. You know, it's not as simple as we need to connect one table to another table so that we can get some specific columns that gives us insights on the business. We need to know after that, what's the overall picture? How are we plugging in those two new columns into the business that's going to allow us to make that decision or those sets of decisions within a business that drives performance? Yeah. I think once we as analysts can start to work like that, start to think, start to see the overall strategic view of the business and what we're doing, I think one, the more valuable we become, and two, the more valuable we are to the business. And all of that as well. I think if you're someone who is now looking to step into becoming a data analyst or any data driven role that sits within sort of technology or within data, you should be looking at ways in which you can improve on those skills and the ability to view the bigger picture and not just that segment of which you are working in. Yeah. So I hope that was useful. Definitely look out for the data series. And if you aren't already following Data Edge Institute, please do so on Instagram, on TikTok, and you're subscribed to my channel here on YouTube. If you are a data analyst looking to break into the industry and become a data analyst, then also Data Edge is exactly where you need to be. We will run you through our program and place you in a job. And there is a full money back guarantee if we fail on our promise, which we will not because we're the best out there. So thanks for watching and hope to see you soon.